a covenant that crosses the boundary of death, a king who remains faithful to the very end. Today's focus: David showed kindness to Mephibosheth. Find Foods, 7 minutes a day, 1 Bible a year. Grace and peace, everyone. Our reading today brings us to 2 Samuel, chapters 9 through 12. Our key verse is, King David asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." 2 Samuel 9. At this time, David's throne was secure. In that security, he did not forget the one he should care for. This person was Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was Jonathan's son, and Jonathan was King Saul's son. Although King Saul persecuted David, Jonathan knew God's will, that David would be king. So he made a covenant with David, saved David from Saul's hand, and asked him to show kindness to his family in the future, meaning his descendants. Saul's son was Ishbosheth, as mentioned earlier, a short-lived king. Jonathan's son was Mephibosheth, and he was lame in both feet. When Saul and Jonathan died, Mephibosheth's nurse, while fleeing in haste, accidentally dropped the child, crippling him. David, at this time, had a secure throne and was victorious in battle. He wanted to show kindness to Jonathan and his house. When scripture says Saul's house, it means Saul's descendants. Jonathan's house is the same. David was a man who kept his covenant of love. And when we speak of keeping a covenant of love, we are speaking of the Lord himself, for he is the one who keeps his covenant of love. He kept his covenant with Jonathan and showed loving kindness to his descendant. David was a man after God's own heart, and he bore the likeness of God. In him, we see the beautiful attributes of God. The significance of the books of Samuel lies in sowing seeds for the United Kingdom age. Today's reading covers the peak of national power and David's fall. The later David's fall refers to David taking Bathsheba and plotting against her husband Uriah. Let us look at the scripture. David shows kindness to Jonathan's son. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." 2 Samuel 9. Ziba was like an old servant and steward of Saul's house. On the positive side, he was loyal and diligent, even providing for David in his most desperate hour. Yet, he was also a scheming man who knew how to play both sides. This story is quite fascinating. Later, Ziba gave a two-sided account, which resulted in Mephibosheth not following or supporting David when he was fleeing from Absalom. Of course, Mephibosheth also bore half the blame. Returning to the point, he said, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." King David remembered his conversation with Jonathan. "And do not ever cut off your kindness from my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth." 1 Samuel 20, Jonathan spoke from God's perspective. He told David, "When the Lord cuts off your enemies, would not that include his father Saul? His father Saul was defeated, and he died with him. So he said, 'Do not ever cut off your kindness from my family.'" Of course, the best outcome would have been if Saul repented, his kingdom endured, or he passed the throne to David. Then both he and Jonathan could have been preserved. But Saul chose the worst path. David did not forget his covenant with Jonathan. "Do not ever cut off your kindness from my family. These are my descendants." In plain terms, he did not kick away the ladder after climbing up. Just because he is king now does not mean he has forgotten everything from the past. Because he valued the unseen God, God is a God who keeps his covenant of love. A covenant, especially the highest form of it, is a blood covenant, a matter of life and death, sealed not merely by ink, but by blood and life itself. This is fundamentally different from ordinary contracts or verbal agreements, for it is a sacred bond witnessed and guaranteed by God himself. So he valued the unseen God. This is a quality pleasing to God. The Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 7. This, in Deuteronomy, speaks of God's character, God's attributes. David kept his covenant of love. Jesus Christ is called the Son of David. Therefore, in 1 Samuel, it says, Jonathan said to David, "We have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." 1 Samuel 20. So he valued the unseen God. God called him a man after his own heart. Reading guide to 2 Samuel. The significance of the books of Samuel lies in sowing seeds for the United Kingdom age, set in the United Kingdom age. A good news announcement. Previously, we saw, follow a single line through the entire Bible. We are about to launch the branch, follow a single line through the United Kingdom age, making the origins and connections of Israel's kings clear at once, covering Saul, David, Solomon, and their relationships is coming soon. Please stay tuned. Continuing. Chapter 9. David shows kindness to Mephibosheth. Chapter 10. Joab defeats the alliance of Ammon and Aram. Joab was David's commander, defeating the foreign alliance of Ammon and Aram. Chapter 11 is David's fall. David and Bathsheba, temptation in times of ease. Chapter 12, the prophet Nathan's judgment. Today's focus, David shows kindness to Mephibosheth. David remembered his covenant with Jonathan. David, who kept his covenant of love, does not kick away the ladder. He was a man after God's own heart, and he bore the likeness of God. Blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. Fine food, 7 minutes. See you tomorrow.